All right, it's 8 o'clock. All right, I'd like to call the Brimfield Township regular meeting to order on December 2nd, 2020 at 8 a.m. Roll call for attendance, please, John.
Okay, all those in attendance, Mike?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
We have a full board.
All right, thank you. We are going to forego the Pledge of Allegiance because of the Zoom meeting, but we will have a moment of silence for meditation or prayer prior to the start of the meeting. Okay. All right. Announcements or correspondences. We'll go around the room. Mike Kostinsky, any announcements or correspondences?
Yes. I've had a couple. One was the continuing in regards to sheets. How
Okay.
how people are, this group of people are totally against it, as we all know. So I did talk to them. And then yesterday I got contacted by people from Sterling Greens, and I've already talked to Mike about it, about their objection to what's going in back there. 200 and some apartment units, if that's what I just heard. The same story. They've moved into Brimfield for this kind of field, but now you got a beautiful subdivision. Now you're going to have all these apartments there, which to me is ridiculous because, number one, the only money we make from these apartments, unless I'm wrong, is property taxes. And we have to provide safety services for all these people that are moving in. And I guarantee you, a lot of them will be Kent State students. So I hope we're all aware of what's going on. I mean, sure, I get it. It's everybody's right to sell their property, but it's got to fit into the pattern we have. And Mike Ladd, I hope you're going to be leading the charge on this thing. We cannot afford any more apartment buildings in Brimfield. I mean, on the scale of this, we make our safety services are already thin. So
this is not a permitted use. It's a conditionally permitted use in the district. I
know, but it's so much greed on these people.
Yeah.
I mean,
well,
we don't barely make enough money on homes to cover the services. Now we're going to get, is that 200 people that could be moving in there?
I'm just saying legally, I don't think we could do anything about it. There's no variance request. It's in the zoning book. This is something that was put in years ago. We're trying to change the zoning right now with the comprehensive land use plan and the zoning map, but it's going to take a little bit yet to finish up and get these areas right. But this is no different than sheets. You look at the zoning code from years ago, and they're coming in under uses not covered. My concern with this whole book.
There's got to be something we can do to slow this down. We cannot take any more apartments. I mean, now we've got apartments across the street by the old Holiday Inn. I mean, how are we going to afford all this?
I think that, they have to show that the sewers can handle it. I mean, that's the major concern there. I don't know if the sanitary sewers will handle it without an upgrade to the system. That's what the county is saying. So can they put 200 homes? I don't know if anything can handle that load. So even though it's in our zoning code and we can't deny it, the county might have to deny it just based upon the sewage.
Okay, well, I just wanted everybody to know. I mean, we got to be responsible. And this is only being responsible to a developer and a landowner.
And then I would, if you could put something in writing, I'll send it to the board because they requested for the next meeting, the police chief, the fire chief, as well as the school board president's remarks for sheets. But if you want to go ahead and give me something on the apartments and the concerns, that'd be great because we could read that in the record.
Do you want them from other trustees too?
If they want to, it's up to them, yeah.
Okay, well, we ought to all consider it because this is ridiculous. We're just being taken advantage of because we have property. So, and I mean, the chiefs really should say something because that's what is going to impact them.
Well, the board has requested letters from them. They didn't do the subpoena power that the board has, but they have requested something in writing, either for it or against it or neutral or whatever.
Okay, so both chiefs, are you writing letters?
In regards to sheets, yes.
And what about the apartments?
This is the first I've heard about the apartment issue.
The
Okay,
apartment, I mean, that's totally entirely up to them. It's not a variance. Like I said, it's listed in the book. So the board's going to have trouble denying it. But they can put conditions on it.
Yeah,
Mike
and I think
Ladd, is
that's
that-
where
Go ahead, Nick.
that's where it's important. That's why we've been pushing and we're working towards completing this comprehensive land use. As much as we as a board may dislike something or not want something within the township, if it's in the code book that was written 10 years ago, it's law. There's nothing we can do to stop that. The only thing we can do is have a better understanding of what we want the growth of our community to be, and then write the land use plan and write the zoning variances and request so that we can kind of control how that growth is. And that's where that was a weakness that we identified. And that's why we're working through redeveloping a comprehensive land use plan. Because
Well,
the property owners have rights. And I know that, and I'm not saying that I want the apartments. I'm just saying that's the position we're in right now. And I just think the community needs to understand that too, that it isn't the board of trustees who's going out and saying, yes, you can have this land and build on it, build whatever you want. It's what was in that code book. And we've been in an active process that took longer than expected because of COVID to do this comprehensive land use plan. That's the legal way of helping mold and design our community. Right now, though, if it sits in the code book, the board can't just deny people for whatever reason they choose to. They have to have a legal reason to deny a building.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, what it'd be great if we could do impact fees or anything. I mean, I don't know how we're going to handle all this. I mean, we're already down officers.
With that type of, I mean, your fees just on that alone from zoning permits will be around $150,000.
Yeah, but what comes after that? I mean, all you're paying, all we get is a property tax.
Yeah, after that would be, yes, your property and income, any employees working there.
Yeah, and how many employees? 2?
Not many. Yeah, not many.
It's ridiculous. Why could it not have been single-family homes?
Yeah,
You know,
there's a provision.
We would have made.
There's a provision for
No,
the only thing, well, I could tell you the only thing, the single family homes would be multifamily. There is no residential use for that. It's either apartments or multifamily dwellings that is in that code right now.
Because that was all town center development back there.
No, it's integrated commercial.
Well, where is that going, off of Kelso or back behind Sterling Green by the expressway?
Next to the expressway, behind Sterling Green. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, so now you're going to have these big apartment buildings in your backyard. I don't know. I just got a copy of the diagram. I wish you'd send it to everybody. Make sure the chiefs get it and stuff.
It's online. It's on our website.
Okay. Well, it's crazy. And we got to slow this down. We got to fast track it or do something. I don't want it to be like the COVID vaccine that keeps eluding us day after day after day. We need to get something going. I mean, I know government's supposed to go slow, but damn, this is slow. Get the damn thing done. Todd P's busy. I mean, we're paying him enough money. We need this damn thing done. And we're too late on this one now. You know, I mean, they've done it before the fact. I mean, I'm just so frustrated with the speed of government. It's BS. You got too many people sitting at home painting their toenails, and they should be getting this crap done. So
I think they've been moving pretty fast.
Well, they need to move faster. Not fast enough for me.
I think they projected a year when they first came out to do this.
That's ridiculous. Get it, put some time to it, get it done in a month.
Yeah,
I'm just
Unfortunately, I mean, that's where I'll disagree with you, Mike, on this.
I
This is
know.
not a project that can be done in a month. I know it's frustrating, but honestly, this is something this board should have done 5 years ago, 10 years ago. This has been in the pipeline, and I asked for a
Well,
strategic
you know-
management plan 3 years ago. So
Well, you
we've
know,
been asking for it, and it took me, wait, let me finish.
Yeah,
It
go
took
ahead.
me It took me a month of fighting with the board to get you guys to agree to it. Now you're saying this should have been done within a month. We should have done this. I mean,
Well, no,
we got to work as a board to get this done.
Nick, you were probably still a teenager when we put a moratorium on building and redid everything. I wish you would have understood how bad it was. So don't tell us we didn't do our job. We did a whole thing and changed the zoning. I remember having developers sitting in our damn trustees room yelling at us because we put a moratorium on building. So don't tell me we didn't do our job. Things change.
I did
over 20
say-
years. So bullshit.
Right, and I'm saying to
bullshit.
be,
Let's get this done right now. We're not
all
going
right,
to point
we're
fingers.
gonna, all right, call the meeting to order. Call to order. Language is inappropriate, Mr. Kostinsky.
Now,
I'm
come
going
on.
to call this to order right now.
Don't
Mr.
blame.
Gardner, I'm
Don't
going to ask you
blame the
to shut
board
his
of
mic off if he
trustees.
continues. I'm going to ask you to calm your language down. We're in a public forum being broadcast live. What I'm saying, Mr. Kostinsky,
Call me Mike.
calm down. I'm just,
Call me Mike.
when you get, Mike, what I'm
Thank you.
saying here,
Let me interrupt
What
here
I'm
right now,
saying
Nick.
here-
I'm sorry. Let me interrupt here. All right, guys, we're all on the same team here, and we
Yep.
need to realize that. So
I'm
let's
not
all
blaming
work
anyone.
together to figure out what we need to do. Nick, Mike, Sue, John, we're all on the board. So let's try to keep this together. We're
Well,
a good board, so
I
let's
agree.
go from what we
All-
have.
I totally agree.
John, all
I
I'm trying to say,
just don't want to
all
be
I'm
called
trying to
out
say
that
real
the
quick.
board did not do the right thing. We did the best thing at the time.
I agree. At the time you did, but we were due for some change, and
Thank
it
you.
takes time. These plans don't happen overnight. That's why I've been asking for it for 3 years, and we finally agreed to it, and we're moving forward with it. But these plans just don't happen in a day. There's a lot of research that goes into this and time that goes into this. I think with the situation we had with COVID, not being able to get people together and not being able to get the community together, it's moving at a good pace. Yes, there's things coming in that we don't want to, but that's the fact of life. I mean, we can't just change things instantaneously and then have to go back and change again in a month. So I think we're moving at a good pace at this point. That's what I was trying to get out there.
Well, that's good. I mean, I just don't want to blame one person. I mean, we've done the best we could. And
I agree that
we
what
are
was
all
done before
under-
was good.
we are all under a lot of pressure, and we're just trying to make the best of what we can. So, I mean, I
Right.
think we have to support zoning as much as we can, and we have to be vocal with what we do. Not with colorful language, but we just have to be, people gotta understand. I mean, everyone sees all this building and thinks it's great, but then have them come look at our end where we have no money to, I mean, the thing, you are very smart, as is everyone. Our safety forces are stretched thin. And if we're looking at the whole picture, we get this many more people into town. I mean, they're not all going to be healthy. They're not all going to be wonderful citizens. I mean, they are going to stretch us thin. And now on top of
Right.
that, we have this huge commercial growth, but we don't have the income to control the growth. And I'm afraid with COVID and the rise of Amazon and everything, our JED revenue is going to be decreasing. I mean, it'll increase because of the increase, the percentage. But I mean, you guys, you understand it. I know it. We got to look
Right.
at the whole picture. And every little
Right.
thing
And
like this that comes in, maybe we'll get 150,000 on building permits, but that's a one-time fee. What happens 5 years from now?
Right. Yep. No, and I agree with it. That's why the comprehensive land use plan is being put together. It's going to help us to control that growth and to do that. But it's not a piece that happens quickly. He told us up front it was going to take a year to do. And then we gave them some extension time because we couldn't even meet for a while because for 2 months, the world was crazy with COVID. Nobody knew what to do with it. So, but
Right.
we're close to that being finalized.
I'm not telling what you guys should do, but we really should reach out to the people that make the decisions on this and let them know where we stand and let them know why we stand this way. Let's not just tell them why we oppose it, but let's not tell them that we oppose it, but why we oppose it.
Right.
I just wish you were back
All
there,
right.
back then when I had all those developers yelling at me because we were putting a moratorium on building. But that was the only way we could stop it. And just one last thing, if you go up to Cranberry Creek, look across the street and see those 4 or 5 apartments next to those 2 or 3 beautiful homes. Back then, you could put anything anywhere, and it was a mess. So,
Right.
Okay, well, I've said my piece.
All right. Sue, any correspondences?
I don't have any.
Sue? Okay, thank you. I only had one correspondence. It was also an objection to the conditional use permit for Town Center Apartments. I just received it last night. I believe the rest of the board was carbon copied on that also from Johanna Payok. I won't read the whole thing here, but basically it's a strong objection to the building behind Sterling Green in Chapman Farms. And I will be sending that also over to, Mike Ladd, you also received that. So you can share that with anybody that it needs to be shared with.
We'll be posting everything online, all complaints for or against, we post.
Okay. And is that scheduled anytime soon to be heard?
We have
Is that the December meeting?
December 16th.
Will be the apartments will be December 16th?
Along with sheets.
Okay.
Mike Ladd, was there were they possibly looking at something else, or did that actually with sheets, or did that kind of fall through as well?
With sheets, there's another location, another developer was trying to persuade them, I believe, to go a little bit further down, 43. But I think they're waiting to see what happens here. So.
Okay.
All right. Hearing no other correspondences or announcements, we'll get to our meeting guest, and then we'll get into the actual meeting itself. Today we have meeting guest Kevin Nixon online. Kevin, if you can give us your business, and then the floor is yours. Oh, we cannot hear you, Mr. Nixon. It's muted for some reason. Nope, I can see your lips moving, but I don't hear anything. Brian, if you're listening, we're having some technical difficulties.
Yeah, Kevin, it seems like something's covering up your microphone. I can hear you just faintly. If you've got a different microphone option, one in your laptop,
Yeah.
why don't you try and speak now?
Is that any better?
Yeah.
Much better. Thank
Yes.
I think it was my headset. Sorry about that. My name is Kevin Nixon. I'm with Portage Marble and Granite in Kent, discussing possible columbarium for Restland Cemetery. I had sent an email, but I apologize. It looks like I had sent it last night, but it sat in my outbox, so I forwarded it this morning again. So hopefully everybody was able to receive that. It just kind of had some photographs of some conceptual drawings, along with just a couple of options, just as a starting point, kind of, to give you a feel for what's available. Going through this process of putting in a columbarium, this is pretty customizable. You can kind of make this look however you'd like and whatever size you'd like. I started off with just 4 options that are pretty standard, that are pretty typical, that are used in some cemeteries around this area. And then I laid out pricing for those 4 options for us to create the columbarium and also set it in place on a concrete pad that would be poured by the township or whoever you guys contract that out to. I also included pricing for what you can expect to receive in return for the sale of the crypts. That pricing is based on what other people or other cemeteries in the area currently charge. I laid it out in there, but just to kind of go over it. In the area, usually you're going to charge between $600 and $2,000 for a crypt. As just one comparison, Talmadge, which is a neighbor, they charge $1,000 for a single crypt. For the pricing that I laid out, I put it at just $800 for a single crypt, which I think is a pretty easy price to obtain. You could probably charge more than that, obviously, but just to show you that there is revenue to be made, even if you have that price at a reasonable $800. The drawings that I did are just very conceptual, not knowing what everybody feels or how they want this to look, just to kind of give you a feel for what layouts you could have. The only thing to take into consideration with the location that we have picked out is there is a slight hill. So it's not pictured in the photographs, but you'd probably have to have either one big pad and have some kind of retaining wall on the one side to keep the hill in place, or 3 separate concrete pads if you want to eventually put these on more than one pad, and then smaller retaining walls, or maybe no retaining wall, depending on, I heard that there was a possibility of moving that impound lot. That's much more flat ground down there, then you wouldn't have to worry about that portion. The drawings that we did showed multiple columbarium. We're not suggesting to buy multiple columbarium at once. It was just kind of to show you what this could look like, decades down the road. Usually a cemetery would start off just buying one. We just did this with Kent last year, and they actually bought a second one before the first one was even finished, because they had pretty much sold out, or sold more than half of the first one before it was even built. So there's definitely some advantages, and it seems that a lot of people in the area tend to go this route, and it seems to be cost effective for cemeteries, and also space saving for that matter. If anybody has any questions, I'm happy to answer anything that you might have off the bat.
Okay, Kevin, good morning. This is Sue.
Good morning. Hi.
And what really, I suppose it's been maybe 15 to 18 years ago, columbarium for Brimfield had been discussed. We did at the Brimfest, we had a table there and tried to get people's opinion if they liked it, if they wanted to see something like this happen. Well, now our population now is 15,000, and right now, the last checked with Rochelle of our Restland Cemetery, we have approximately 1,500 burial spots where you can dig in the ground. And so I would like to, which I have, I've been researching, and I appreciate you giving us this information. And I think that now, since we have grown, we haven't been able to expand on our cemetery. And I thought that the columbarium idea should be presented again for the future. And I really would like to see something like this done for the residents. Not most, but a lot of people are going to cremation in the cemetery now, instead of the full-blown put me 6 feet under. But the information that you've given us here, I really appreciate it. I did take a look real quick at the pictures that you sent, and I'll go back into that again after the meeting is over, because I haven't had time to really check that out. But I do think that the columbarium idea is something that our residents may appreciate, and I would suggest if the residents wanted to, they could send us an email or work with us a little bit and let us know what they think of it. One thing I like about it is that the little niches are being sold individually, and in fact really pay for the columbarium itself, whereas there wouldn't be actual money coming out of the general fund to finance that. But that's just my opinion. If you fellas have anything to say, I'm done.
I have a question, Kevin. The ones over at Standing Cross or Standing Rock, towards the river, that's the one you're talking about?
Correct, yes.
Now, on that email that you sent, which I'm kind of drawing a blank on what those look like. I've seen them before, but is that the first one or the second one that you sent, the 96 crypt?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what theirs. You can kind of lay these out. I think the 96 that I put up there had. Let me just open it up here and make sure I'm looking at the right thing. So the 96 one that I sent you is was that 8 across and 6 down, so 48 on each side. I think that Standing Rocks is something like, man, is it 12 across and 4 down? So it's still the same size. It's just they laid it out differently as opposed to being 8 by 6. It's 12 by 4 if I remember correctly.
Well, and they have those in different areas over there too. But is there a way to put those side to side after a period of time? So if we bought one and it filled up, could you put one right next to it, the same style?
Oh, I mean, yeah. So in the photos I sent, we kind of laid out how you would, you would start with one and then you'd add a second one and then you could add, more later. Is that what you're asking? Or
Yeah.
Yeah. So usually we recommend that you set this up to where you know where you want to add the ones if you ever add them in the future. That way, you don't have to move an old one to get a new one in there.
Okay.
So,
Mike.
John, I wanted to, just so the public could see this too, give me 1 second. I was going to share this, but I wanted to share the images that we were talking about.
Yeah.
Can everybody see that now?
Yes.
Right.
So let's start here with the drawing. This was the drawing that was sent. This is just my feedback. My only concern is this area back here behind the lot. We're not sure what will happen with that in the future. I thought our original discussion, instead of having like a big spot like this, having like a big columbarium, instead we were going to have a wall of them, be it here or a wall of them here with a walking path along them. So you would more instead have, go back here. We would use something like this and then have a sidewalk in front of it instead of having a designated spot. So it was almost creating a barrier between the police department and the cemetery, a walking path, and even maybe some benches on this side, obviously, facing those. Is that something that could be done instead of creating just one big, large cement pad?
Oh, sure, absolutely, yeah. That makes no difference on our end. That's totally up to you guys how you want that concrete pad to look. That was just conceptual, just as a starting point.
Okay, because then too, my thought is, if you did something like this too, then you could actually, this space down here, you could actually space them out so they're not butted side to side. And once this starts to fill up, you could add another one further down along the sidewalk and just keep adding those as time go. And it creates that barrier, but also a place for people to sit.
I had asked Kevin if he would give us a present, like you say, with that concrete pad, because I was thinking that when you have a funeral service, people may want to have chair seating out there and have the service right there with the columbarium to give them a place to go ahead and have that memorial service right there.
Sue, I don't think you were on when, I think you were printing these when Roy and I were talking at the beginning. The pushback that we might have with that is that impound light might go away simply because we need to expand the police department. And that would be where it would go. So I don't know how nice that would be sitting there with right behind the police department having a.
Okay. All right. I see what you say.
Yeah,
Good.
but I did.
Yeah, that's why we were asking.
Look at the concept.
That's why we were asking if we could do, it could be a barrier wall, a separation wall, and then you have some nice stone benches around, kind of facing them, working your way around it with a sidewalk or something.
Okay.
There's also probably the option, I'm not sure what you guys have planned for what was the scatter garden, but you could put probably 1 or 2 back there as well if you don't like that location. That won't affect anything from our end again.
Yeah,
I might be off base here though, but Mike Ladd, did we ever hear from the developers over there about them donating green space land on the backside?
Yes, we have. So I did meet with the potential buyer back there, and he has put me in touch with the actual owner. I know the parents had passed away. His family has passed. I think the mother and father and the kids have it and have a different lawyer involved. But I do have the contact information with them, and we did reach out to them requesting a meeting.
But we haven't gotten anywhere with them saying, yeah, they're gonna make
No,
that the green
because-
space part of it.
No, because Wino had originally had a purchase agreement on the property for the development, has plans developed on it, sold off property to Redwood, and Redwood is proceeding. And housing development, actually, the Pitts family wants to pursue and go forward with. So,
Because that would change our whole scenario with this, because then we'd have extra land back there, and that could be right where we put it, along with additional grave sites back there.
right.
That kind of plays all into this, I think. Okay, thanks, Mike.
All right. Do we have any other questions for Kevin? This is just kind of our initial planning phase and first look at this.
Right, we're good.
All right. Well, we want to thank you guys for coming in today to talk to us about this. We appreciate your work so far on it. This will allow us, because I just got it this morning too, allow us some time to look at it, discuss it at the next board meeting, and let you know what our next plan of action is. Once again, we appreciate you coming in today.
Sure thing. And you guys, I believe all have my email, so if you need updated drawings or anything else, you feel free to contact anytime.
Okay.
Thanks, Kevin.
All right. Thank you guys.
Hey, one quick question.
Sure.
Standing Rock, so if I drive back there to look at it, where's this at?
Do you know where actual Standing Rock is?
Yeah, we just buried someone back there, right?
Yeah, they're right there. They're right there along that back grass patch by the river.
Okay, yeah, because we buried someone right by the river, but I did not notice it. I'll drive back there and look. Thank you.
Sure, no problem.
All right. And do we have any other meeting guests today? Larry, were you with? Oh, we can't hear you.
Larry was with me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Just wanted to make sure I wasn't missing anybody. All right. All right. So we'll move in then to our agenda. I need a motion to. Well, before that, do we have any additions or subtractions? I believe, Roy, you had something you wanted to add to that. He might be on a call.
Number 5.
John, what was that?
Under police, approval of PO. Be number 5 under police.
Okay, number 5 under police is approval of PO.
Yep.
Is there any other additions or subtractions?
Is Craig there?
Craig is trying to see if everybody's available, so I'll just add it for now. We can not do it if they can't make it. We want an executive session at the end of this meeting. The executive session is going to be to discuss confidential information related to marketing plans.
So is that going to be under admin?
Yeah. But we'll actually do it at the very end of the meeting instead of trying to zoom in and out.
Yep.
Technology is so much fun.
Okay.
Okay, any other additions or subtractions?
I am good.
Me too.
All right, I need a motion to approve it. I'll make a motion to approve it.
I will make a motion.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor,
roll
Mike?
call.
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Motion passed.
All right, I need a motion for the purchase orders.
I will make that motion. I've reviewed them and signed them.
Okay. And I'll second that. Roll call.
All those in favor, Mike?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Motion passed.
All right, I need a motion for the warrants.
So
can
move.
Okay, I'll second that.
All those in favor, Mike?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Motion passed.
All right, public comments or questions? Did anybody receive anything to be read in from the public today? Sue?
I had some comments about how nice the lighting was for the Thanksgiving Day. Very, very, went over very well. All positive.
I had
Alright.
a comment. I had a comment when why we did not light up the Christmas tree behind the gazebo. I think I heard that from somebody else too. So I heard that at the restaurant.
Actually, I don't believe that has lights in it.
No. The Christmas, the big, large Christmas tree behind the gazebo.
Oh, you mean in the gazebo?
No, the one. There's a huge tree, pine tree.
Yeah, they don't have lights in it.
Right.
They did not put lights in that. We don't know why. I actually walked back there because I was under the assumption we were going to light that too, but there's no lights in that pine tree this year.
I guess for next year we just have to remember to tell them it does look beautiful. So,
Mhm.
I mean, it would have looked more
Right.
beautiful, but it's all good.
All right. Any other public comments?
I need
All right.
we need a motion to table the minutes to 12/16 of 20.
All right. I'll make a motion to table the minutes.
I'll
Second.
second. Sue, second.
All those in favor, Mike,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
Sue.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Any safety concerns? The only one I have is, and maybe Dave can give an update, anything on the Sandy Lake and Talmadge Road intersection.
No, Nick, I haven't heard nothing back from Mike Collins and them yet.
Okay. Just wanted to follow up. Hopefully they can get us something for next meeting. That'll put us a month out, but I'd like to see something for that intersection.
Okay. I'll check with him again. We've been going over OPWC stuff.
Right. Okay. No problem. All right. Any other safety concerns?
I
All
think
right,
our
if
roads
not,
looked good after that snowstorm. I mean, the county roads not so good. Our roads look good.
Yeah, there was a safety concern. Actually, now that you mentioned that, Mike, that reminds me, somebody made a comment to me about Old Forge, but Old Forge is a county road, correct, Dave?
Yes.
Yes. Sorry.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah. They said it looks, all of our roads look great, but what's going on with Old Forge? They said it's horrible till we reach the Talmadge line. Well, unfortunately, they need to call the county about that.
I know, that's a bad thing because people just assume there are roads, and so,
Right.
but no matter how many times we tell people, till it affects them.
Well, when that storm first blew in, my wife had to take the girls somewhere, had to run somewhere, and she said, man, Brimfield looked great. And I got to Kent, and it was horrible. So, Dave, your crew did a great job this week.
Yeah. Had them working hard at it.
Yep, Kent was terrible.
Let's pile on.
All right. All right. Well, hearing nothing else under safety, we will turn it over to Police Department. Roy, the floor is yours.
Yep. Thank you, Nick. I apologize. I had to step away to take a phone call. I did have one adjustment to the agenda. I apologize. I'm a little late to the game on getting this to you. I do have one item that's going to require board authorization for a purchase order.
Yeah, we put that
Yep,
on.
we added that for you.
Okay. Just want to make sure you've got that then. Thank you. Thank you.
Yep.
Really just a couple of pieces of information for you this morning. Really just a couple of updates. I know we've discussed a couple of these already, but our request for proposals for towing services for Brimfield Township, Brimfield PD, has been turned over to Mark Gaddetti for legal review. I updated you at our last meeting, just another update with that today. Mark still has that. I have not gotten feedback from him yet on final approval of that. I'll follow up with him later this week to see if we can move forward on getting that document brought before the board for approval. So that's still in Mark's hands at the moment. I wanted to let the board know our modified quote unquote shop with a cop is going to be taking place on Saturday, December 19th. And that's going to be between the hours of 11 and 1, just a couple of hour window. And what we're going to be doing is delivering gift bags and custom made embroidered blankets that one of our residents graciously made for the kids as well. So we're going to be caravanning some police cruisers to visit 20 different kids that day. I think it's a 10 or 12 total households because a couple of them have multiple kids from the same home. And we're going to be delivering our Shop with a Cop bags that day. So it's going to look a little different due to COVID, but it's something we can still do for the holidays, and that's going to be on the 19th. Want to let the board know also we've taken delivery of our police cruiser after several months of delay and COVID, et cetera, this year that kind of threw the calendar out of whack. We do have that in delivery. It's going to be scheduled to go out for graphics here next week, and Hall Public Safety is going to be doing the equipment installation and everything on that right after the first of the year. So that's going to finally be done after a month's delay with the COVID situation. I also want to update the board. We are currently in the background investigation and initial interview phase for a new hire police officer. In fact, there's an interview going on this morning with the sergeants are handling that. So that's in process. I don't want to give you an exact timeline on when I'll be able to bring a name to the board for conditional approval, but hopefully by the end of this month, if not right after the first of the year, I'll be coming to you with some information on that. So that's all I have as far as informational updates. And I do have the one request for board authorization for that purchase order payable to Staley Technologies for Mark's radios.
All right. And that was in the amount of how much, Chief?
That is, the total on that is $8,556.60. That is on state term contract pricing through Staley Technologies.
I'll make a motion
Daily or
to.
daily? I'm sorry, Chief.
Go ahead, John. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Is it daily with a D or
That's going to
Staley?
be Staley, S-T-A-L-E-Y, in the amount of $85.56
Okay.
and 60 cents for Mark's radios and associated Mark's equipment.
All right, I'll make a motion to approve the purchase order to Staley Technologies for the purchase of Mark's radio and Mark's radios and equipment in the amount of $8,556.60. Need a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor, Mike,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
Sue,
Yes.
motion passed.
Okay, that's all I have for you this morning, unless you have any follow-up questions right now.
Nope, I don't have anything. Everybody else?
We're good.
Yep.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Then we'll move over to the fire department. Craig.
For the fire department, just some updates here. We did buy for the township a N95 fit tester. That does not just do N95s, it does all masks and kind of puts us in an area where we can show that our employees are wearing the properly fitted masks. What we did discover is that with the few we have fit tested so far is that a lot of our masks, we've probably got sold a bill of goods when it was hot and heavy and told that these masks work great and they're not proper. So it is getting us in line with what we need to be and give our employees peace of mind also. I will be testing the fire department to decide on what the masks work best for us. We got about half done so far. It is time consuming. Takes about an hour per person, but it is something we're doing. So just updating you on that.
Craig, do you have to do
Craig.
that every time they use a new mask?
No, so if I take a certain brand, that now I know what brand is one of the proper ones that I can get a hold of. They get tested on that. They pass that fit test. As long as they're wearing that mask, they can wear them for that until they, let's say it this way, until they change body types. So if they get 100 pounds, that mask is not going to fit them again, or if they lose, then it's not going to fit them. But, you know, assuming that they stay the same size, that mask will be good for them. Now, you could do multiple different masks, so you have multiple different options, but you have to be tested on each different one.
Okay, I understand. Thank you.
Yeah, so the idea is to fit test for the brand, not the actual single mask itself. With that said, though, if you don't mind me jumping in real quick, Craig, on this, one thing that we did learn is that when we have essential workers that have to come to work, but they are under a health department order to quarantine at home, they still can come to work if they're an essential worker and they wear an N95 mask while they're working. So that brings up the concern of we have listed essential workers that if they, for some reason, were put into that situation and needed to return to work, they would have to be fit tested before they could come to work because that N95 would have to be fit tested. It is my recommendation to the board that we require all essential workers in the township to get fit tested for N95 masks now, so we're not fit testing them in the point in which they are potentially in an exposure situation, thus exposing our fit testers being the firefighters that have been trained to do this. So I think it's prudent of us to get ahead of the curve, have everybody fit tested now, know what masks work for them, so that if we have to bring them in that essential worker criteria, we already have them fit tested and have the masks available to them. I'd like to open that up to some discussion, both from the board and the department heads.
I'd like to comment on that, Nick. Yeah, I appreciate the feedback on that. I know we discussed that informally on the phone as well. I just want to share a little bit of feedback on that piece based on that conversation we had where you had an employee who had an immediate household member that tested positive for COVID-19. I had an opportunity to touch base with the other police chiefs in the county and kind of discuss that situation, see if any departments have run into, any other police departments have run into that. I have not run into another police department that is mandating their officers with a positive COVID test in their household to come into work and wear an N95 mask. They are quarantining and then getting a test and then coming back following getting that negative test and then coming back into work. But they're not coming into work right away wearing that N95 mask. So I hear exactly what you're saying. I just don't want to be out on an island and doing things differently than how it's being done elsewhere in the county on that, because no one else is following that protocol right now, at least from a police perspective.
So they're quarantining for the whole, so they're taking the 14 days off and then they're coming back? Yeah,
I've seen it a couple different ways. They've done the quarantine. And then when I talk, for example, Aurora PD, when I talk to them, they are sending the employee for a test. Once they get the negative result for the employee after X number of days, they're bringing them back. So it'd be sooner than the 14 days. I think in that case, I think it was 10 days total. So I see it being done a little bit differently both ways. Well, Aurora sending them for a test after X number of days, and once they get that result, bringing them back sooner than the 14 days. The other departments I'm speaking to, they've been in the quarantine for the 14-day period. So I just want to supply that feedback, having had a chance to speak with other entities in the county on that.
Yeah, my only concern, and I get I get what they're saying. Just with the number of employees we had, if we had 2 or 3 off all at once, there may be a situation in which we have to bring them back. Is part of the concern. And if we're going to bring them back, I'd rather the fire department not fit test people that we know have a higher probability. This doesn't mean that we're bringing them back. It's just, this is precautionary steps. It's kind of that prep step of, hey, we're going to give each of you an N95 you've been fit tested for. If we need to bring you back in this scenario, we've already checked that box per se.
Yeah, and
or if there's some mass event.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think taking that approach on the front end, regardless how we handle on the back end, yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah, we're on the same page on that.
That's just my big concern right now. What we do on the back end or who we hold home, we can work through that. I just want to get everybody fit tested now in the next week or two and have masks for them. So we make sure we're stockpiling the right sizes, because we've already found at the FD that one person doesn't fit into what we thought we were going to stockpile. So we might have to buy a couple different brands or styles of masks to make that work.
Yeah, I agree.
To get that inventory, we need to get everybody fit tested.
Yeah, hey, Craig, was that the 3M masks?
Yes, that's the ones I want to go with, assuming people.
Okay, thank you.
Craig, are you having any problem getting the right kind of mask?
Well, after we did the initial fit testing last week, I reached out to 3M, spent about 2 hours on the phone, finally got a representative, seemed to be very knowledgeable, said he could get what I want, and I haven't heard from him since. So I was thinking, no, I was going to get the right ones, and I can't get a hold of this guy again. So I'm up in the air right now. But like I said, we were kind of sold a bill from everybody that I talked to. Oh yeah, our masks are perfect. Well, 2/3 of them don't work. So
Dave, are you okay with getting all your staff fit tested?
How's it go with facial hair?
Well, that's going to be the battle. They have to be clean shaven the day of fit testing.
Right, because I do have 2 gentlemen that have had beards before, you know what I mean, way before this. So, I mean, my wife wants me to shave, but I don't have a problem with it myself, but are we able to push that since they've had it before? You know what I'm saying? With the beard?
And I think this is a bigger discussion, Dave, that you and I need to have, because like we talked about before, you guys do some silica work too, which is going to require them to be in the N95 while they do that silica work as part of their job. And I know the beard thing is a tough discussion, but that's the only way you can fit test. You can't, because if they come back, if they are in a positive household and we deem them essential and they're coming back and they're working, they're going to have to shave that day they come back to work too, because they got to be clean shaven anytime they're inside of an N95 mask.
I just was wondering how we're gonna proceed with it. Yeah, I mean, that's the whole thing. I mean, can they?
Craig, are there other options? I mean, 'cause I don't see us purchasing PAPRs I mean, unless it was a medical reason, I would say.
No,
Hey, Nick, could they wear shields?
No, the health department's requiring the N95 because there's a higher potential for them. Typically, if they're a non-essential worker, so not to pick on you, Kathy, but we have you labeled as like in a non-essential category, we wouldn't even be able to bring her back. We're saying this person is needed to make operations work. In order to do that safely, the N95 is about protecting. It filters out a higher percentage than the cloth masks do. The face shield would just allow those vapors to flow around also. They do reduce that potential for exposure, but the N95 is a filtering face piece, meaning that it's grabbing 95% of the particulates.
Okay.
So that's going to be the road that we have to cross.
So going back to my end real quick, there is no certification. It was train the trainer. We were trained on them, but if you guys wanted, you know, or required, whatever, wherever we go with that, I can do it, and I have people trained to do it. Roy, I could even train one of your guys to do it. It's not that hard. So, but there is a method to it, and it does show us what we need. So.
But I would like, I don't know if the department heads can just do it, or if you guys feel that we need a motion on it to get everybody in compliance with it, but I'd really like to see it done in the next probably 2 weeks or so, just so that we're ready, because we see these numbers continue to climb.
I'm sorry, I just want to one other comment on that. Yeah, if you want to put the 2-week window on it, you know, we could try to get in compliance with that. As a side note, just our no shave November, December runs through the end of December. So I've got everybody in my department right now running with facial hair. If we'd be willing to make the timeline, maybe at the end of the month, I could kind of navigate those waters a little bit better, but I'll leave that up to you as a board.
Can I jump in there, Roy? I'm not going to get everybody done by then anyways. It takes an hour per person, so it's going to take me a little bit with the holidays anyways. So
okay.
I don't want to speak for them.
I mean,
Could we reasonably say that we could have them all done by January 1?
Well, that is the end.
That's a month. Yeah, I originally said 2 weeks. That gives you 30 days.
I know, but, well, I'm speaking for Roy, his guys. If I can knock out, I got to knock out the rest of my guys. I got to knock out some other people. And can we follow up on it? I just don't know how many I'm going to get this week. You know, I might get another 2 this week. I don't know. I'm not going to pay them overtime to come in to do this. So
I'd really rather I'd rather avoid that if I can.
So.
Right. But I also don't want to delay this for 2 or 3 months. I mean, you know, we're not asking to do this just because we think it's something good to have, in my opinion. I mean, we're in the middle of a pandemic and we may need to bring people back. And we're trying to avoid having to fit test them. I mean, I get that it's no shave November. Now it's no shave November, December. But I mean, we get the health of both our residents and our officers has to be priority number 1.
Hey, Nick, I have one question.
Yeah.
Legally, are we allowed to order people to take off their beards? I mean, is that a question we need to address? I mean,
I don't know why we could. I mean, it's a function of their job. Unless they had a religious reason, then we might have to explore some other option.
Yeah, I don't know if this is this worth us making a call legally? I mean, I know you're involved with workers' comp. I mean, can they tell you to take your beard off?
I
can tell you in general industry we have. If you're going to work and you got to be around that, you have to be able to wear a mask.
Okay, I just want to make sure we're within our boundaries. You know what I mean?
Hey, Craig, I'm assuming your guys are wearing N95s fairly often.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, my guys very rarely have an N95 mask on right now. We have them available in the kits and the cruisers if they go into a situation where for example, if dispatch has confirmed that's a location with a positive case, or they show up on the call and someone confirms that, hey, my Uncle Bill over here as positive, in which case our guys can get that mask and have that available to them. But for day-to-day use, my guys are not wearing a 95 mask. The only reason I say that is because if we're going in priority, I think your guys obviously should be at the front of the line for that. And then my guys can follow. That's kind of how I would see that naturally flowing.
Yes, but you know, and I think you'll agree with this. We're wearing around the station. We're wearing, you know, the typical mask that everybody's wearing. We can wear a surgical mask. We can wear an N95. If we go on that call, which we're getting, N95s are required, and that's why I want your guys to have that protection there. But I'm not telling you what to do either. So
yeah, I understand. It's just a question of.
And also, before I sit back and order what I think is going to be proper, I need to know, does the majority fit that? And I'll order the mask for the township, and we'll get the right ones. So I'm kind of waiting on that also. So.
Okay, I'm reaching out to Chad Murdoch as we talk to get his opinion on this.
Yeah, you can ask fire. We're good. We have to because we have SCBA masks, so we're required. So you don't even need to ask for us.
Okay.
I believe the.
Yeah, I just have concern too for the PD now that you're saying that you've issued them N95s in their kits and they wear those when they know there's a positive case that they're interacting with. We're really creating a false sense of security because they're not getting a seal. So the mask really isn't providing any protection for them at this point on those calls.
Yeah, we
don't know if it fits them.
It's been a small handful, maybe one or two at the most. Hey, it's been a rare occurrence.
Okay.
And when we get into those situations, I guess one more comment, Roy, we may need your police officers, but typically we want everybody to stay away except for us. So, and my guys are going above and beyond. They're putting full gowns on and everything else, but because we don't want it. So.
That's good.
All right, well, let's wait. I guess we can wait and hear. Hopefully we'll hear back from Chad by the end of the meeting about the beard issue, but I really would like to see, you know, Craig, obviously you got your staff, but you're only doing the 3 or 4 that are on shift. You can do 1 an hour. You know, we should be able to knock those out in the next couple of weeks, I would say, at the latest.
Maybe it is a good idea to maybe train somebody else, because, I mean, Craig is so busy.
Yeah, I got 3 people already trained.
Do you?
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Are they all firefighters, or?
Yes.
I mean, is it worth getting somebody not a firefighter to help out?
That's what I mean. If the PD wanted their own person in house to do it, they come over and they watch one, and I train them how to do it, and they can do it themselves. So, if there, like I said, again, there is no certification. It's more train the trainer. And then I bought 2 kits. So.
Sounds good. I think that would help you.
Listen, I laughed at it at first. Once you actually do it and discover what mask actually fits you, because I discovered there's ones that don't. It is better. We'll know which ones fit us when that comes. So that's it.
Okay. All right, well, let's wait to hear back on the beard piece, and then we'll move forward from there. But I'd like to, those that don't have them, I'm just trying to be preventative here. I just want to make sure that we're able to bring staffing in if we need to.
Hey, Nick, I got Chad.
Yes.
He said to call him. Do you want me to call him and try to hear him through my phone?
Sure, if you want to.
Mike, why don't you mute yourself for a second, and I'll move on till you get him ready.
Well, I think
Oh.
he told me to call him right away.
This is Attorney Chad Murdoch at the Tone.
No, he's not. When he calls in, I'll let you know, okay?
Okay. All right, so you just keep moving on.
All right. Other things are just updates. Paperwork's being completed for the station loan. We received some stuff last night. We're getting stuff from the Board of Elections, so it's moving. I did have a meeting tomorrow that I had to cancel, so no update at this time.
Hey, Nick, or
Yes.
Chad? I'm going to make you go live, okay? Okay. Let's see. I got to figure out how to make him go live.
Should be a speaker.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it.
If there's a keypad button, hide your keypad.
Yeah, I got the keypad. I'm just trying to find the I'm here.
Lift it up a little more. I couldn't see it.
Right there, the keypad, but there's no.
Oh, it looks like you lost them.
Chad? Oh, okay, here it is. Chad, you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear it.
Okay. Nick,
Okay.
can you guys hear him?
Yes, we can.
Okay, go ahead, Chad.
The question is, can you require employees to shave their beards so the masks get tighter?
Yes.
Correct. We have, just to give you a little background
Department
real quick, Chad,
some health official that sets that as a requirement or a recommendation?
Did you hear that, Nick?
no, it was,
Go ahead
Sorry.
again, Chad.
Do you have anything from the Portage County Health Department, State of Ohio, CDC, some health official that recommends or requires the shaving of beards so masks fit tighter?
well, let me clarify, Chad. What we're talking about is in the event that they have a positive test in their household, essential workers cannot return to work unless they're wearing an N95. To wear an N95 mask, they have to be fit tested. To fit test for that mask, they have to be clean shaven to have a tight seal. It's no longer a facial covering. This is a response to essential workers being brought back into the workplace. So we're attempting to fit test all staff prior to a positive test in their household, so we're not exposing our fit testers to the potential COVID exposure while doing the fit testing. But to do that, we have several staff members that have beards that would need to shave in order to get fit tested.
Okay. Well, then what you're telling me is that it is a health department at some levels requirement that the N95 fits snugly, and the only way that that's going to happen is clean shaving.
Right.
Correct?
Craig, would you like, I would agree with that statement, right, Craig?
I mean, yeah, it's not going to fit with a beard.
Would it fit with a goatee? I'm just curious.
I don't know that.
It's all about where the mask lands. So the mask has that. So you could, depending on where the mask lands, they could have a small goatee, they could have a mustache, but it's all about where the edge of the mask lands for a seal.
Okay.
It's about the seal.
I was trying to grab a mask here that what we were going to fit on, but yeah, Roy, it would have to be a thin goatee to maybe work. Because even my guys, they can have a mustache, but it's allowed to come out, but it can't come down because that won't seal. So.
Could it be a situation where the Portage County Health Department would make a determination on a case-by-case basis? Because, for instance, my beard is very short. Maybe the mask works. Where another beard that, is much larger, maybe it doesn't. I mean, instead of banning all beards, could that be a consideration?
I will say from an occupational safety and health, OSHA, and Department of Labor piece at the federal level, there was a letter of interpretation at one point that said you could have a thin beard if you passed the fit test with beard. They have, based on NIOSH's recommendation, have thus gotten rid of that letter of recommendation and said any fit testing requires no facial hair.
And do you have that determination from a health official within the framework of the COVID-19 crisis?
What I was told was from Craig, when we had a essential worker we needed to bring back, they said they could come back, but they need to be in an N95 mask, which brought us to the fit testing piece. And to fit test them, when Craig went through the training, said that they had to be clean shaven to get the seal to pass the fit test. Would you agree with that, Craig?
Yes. I mean, we could try one with a little bit of a beard, but it's not going to work.
just a follow-up question, guys, just for an educational piece. Was the fit testing requirement from the Portage County Health Department, or is that coming from an entity up above them?
Portage County Health Department, I don't know that answer if they got that above them. So the simple answer was that someone had contact tracing. They wanted to come back to work. They required to, at that point, come back with a fitted N95. I said, we don't have fitted N95. She said, do you want them to work or not? So, well, yeah, I want them to work. Well, then it has to be fitted. So that's where that came from. Is that a recommendation? I believe so.
Craig, did you hear that? Chad said, can you? Go ahead, Chad.
Craig, can you do something from the Portage County Health Department that says to come back to work under these circumstances, you need the N95, and in order for that N95 to work properly, you have to be clean shaving?
Yeah, that might be the best way to go. Get something from them. I don't know if they're willing to put anything in writing. They should if they're requiring it, but
I think what they're going to put in writing, if I was the health department, I think they would say that you need to have a properly fitted N95. And then it's going to come down to the testing agency. Can you get somebody to pass and test with facial hair?
like I said, I'll try one with facial hair, but I just don't think it's going to work.
Well, you need a health official to direct this, not you guys, because you're not health officials. So you need the health department, the state of Ohio, the CDC, somebody that says, in effect, it's either strongly recommended or required, whatever, words to that effect, that in order for that mask to fit properly and be effective, you have to be clean shaven.
Okay.
That's what you need. I mean, you can't make that determination on your own. That's a health department or health official recommendation, requirement, whatever.
Okay, got it.
Okay, well, thanks,
All right.
Thanks, Chad.
No problem. Talk to
Okay.
you all later.
Bye.
Yeah, bye.
Bye. All right, well, we'll follow up on it this week, and we'll get an answer from the health department.
Sounds good. Moving on.
Yep.
All right, last thing I had was we did set up our Santa on the fire truck delivery. We're still going to do that like we do every year. We're going to tweak those rules a little bit, which will, we don't go into the houses. Kids don't sit on our laps. Maybe we set the gifts on the porch or in the driveway, but we feel safe enough doing that, wearing masks and everything else, that we can continue that tradition. So that will be December 19th and 20th. We'll be out on Facebook again, posting that here and there, but I am cutting off the gifts on December 15th. So they have to be in a little bit earlier so I can organize.
Which Saturday and Sunday are you going to be north and south?
It would be Saturday, December 19th would be north of Talmadge, and 20th would be south of Talmadge.
Thank you.
And that's all I have for the fire department.
Hey, Craig, one quick question. Has anyone contacted you about getting your firefighters, the police officers vaccinated?
Well, when I did my fit testing, I talked to someone from the health department, and they believe that the test is coming. They said first line workers would be doctors and nurses would be early December, they thought, with firefighters. And I don't know if police is in there, but firefighters on the second round, which would be about third week of December, is what I was told. Is that just a guess from them? Maybe. I don't know what facts are behind that, but then on down. So there is.
Yeah, I would pray that they get you guys quickly. I mean, you guys walk into these situations.
Right, we're second tier, I guess.
I know, but if you think about it, you have less protection than they do in the hospitals.
Right.
So,
I think we're right around the corner, and then we'll see where that goes from there.
and I hope they would include police. Jeez.
Yeah, I think they would. I just didn't ask that. I don't know that for sure.
So it'll come through the health department. Is that what you're gathering?
I believe so.
Okay, thank you.
Typically, the hospital, because we fall under UH protocol, and we have a med director that operates everything, and they usually schedule and make it convenient for us, you know, through the health department, through UH hospitals, something like that.
Okay, and I don't want to open up another can of worms. Can we mandate it?
I'm hoping someone above us makes that decision,
Okay, good.
is the simple answer.
Thank you.
Okay. That's all I have. If I can move right into admin.
Yep.
Okay. There is a new COVID checklist, which I've given to every department, and I think all departments have implemented, where they temperature check and check in. It goes on a biweekly payroll basis, but allows us something, gives us some kind of tracking for our employees prior to working their shift. Also for the admin staff, we have a couple new policies in place regarding masks being worn inside the buildings and outside the buildings, but just getting a little more stringent on where we're at because the numbers have increased. I think the last number I looked at was we were like 75 in Brimfield, where I'd probably say a month ago we were like at 7. So we are higher than ever, and we're going on more calls than ever. So, any questions to that?
Nope.
Okay, and then this kind of jumps into the road department, but we'll start road negotiations tomorrow with Local 24 and Brimfield Township. So I'll be a part of that with Dave. So we'll be moving on that. The only other thing I had is the request for the executive session that we need to add. Do you want to go ahead and?
Yeah, we added that to the agenda, Craig, when you stepped away.
And that's all I have.
Okay. John, just under admin, I had 2 questions for you. The first is, do we have any update on the policy and procedure manual that our outside firm was working on?
Do not. He was working on it last time I sent it. I'll send him another email today. I mean, I sent it last weekend, or a week ago when we had the regular meeting, and he said they were getting ready to work on it because the COVID stuff was putting them off, and the COVID funding stuff. They're a big attorney for that, so I can just email him again. I have not heard anything.
All right. Yeah, I was just trying to keep up with it, trying to see if we could hit that end of the year guideline, maybe, if we can. The other piece is, how many fuel credit cards are we up to now for the township? How many gas stations do we have independent cards to?
3. Murphy's, Circle K, and Speedway.
Okay. Just planting the seed for 2021 at the beginning of the year, can we look at consolidating that into single cards per car? Like I had talked to you about before, I'd like to be able to start tracking the fuel usage, but also the repair costs out of your office to see what we're paying per mile to operate the vehicles so that we have a better determination of what's happening with those vehicles.
Yes, that was a 2021 goal at the beginning of the year that we were going to get that taken care of. That's on the plan.
Hey, John, just a quick follow-up on that, Nick. If you're looking to consolidate that, that's fine. If we can, preferably one that has gas pumps open 24 hours. I don't know that all 3 of those stations have 24-hour access, or if, for example, Murphy's shuts down their pumps at a certain hour. Just having around the clock.
What we were thinking, Roy, actually is more of a Voyager card, which would allow them to take that cruiser to any gas station in the state of Ohio.
All right, then
so even when they go down, so even if when they're down in Columbus and they're going down to Apata for training, they could stop halfway down and get fuel because it's based on the mileage of the car and a driver PIN number to track that. Then when you get that bill every month, it runs it by plate number or cruiser number, however you want to set that up. And we can see the mileage and the fuel cost paid, and that can calculate into a mile per gallon number. And then we can add in repair costs into a spreadsheet with that too. And we could say, hey, cruiser number 1 operates at 45 cents a mile. And all the other cruisers are around 46 cents a mile. But cruiser number 10 is operating at 75 cents a mile. Well, maybe that's an issue. Maybe we need to retire that cruiser sooner or make some type of change there. So it just allows us to make some better financial decisions.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Just the access, around the clock was my main point. I think that's obviously that's addressed. So thank you.
Well, and we'll have to address something as well. Both chiefs and David will have to leave the card's going to have to be in there. So it's going to have to stay. It won't be in somebody's wallet anymore. So I don't know how if we lock the glove part, glove box or what we do.
That's what we're doing now.
Yeah, they're by car now.
You have them in the police cruisers now, though?
Yes, each of
Okay,
those cards is in each cruiser.
Okay. I didn't realize they were in the PD. Okay. Dave, do you have it set up that way?
Nah, mine's with my guys.
Okay.
'Cause we all drive different vehicles. You know what I mean? So it's in their pocket.
Well, we'll have to switch that up and just keep it by vehicle. But that's the very beginning of the year. That's what we're planning on doing. I'll get in touch with you. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, I appreciate. Yeah, it was just a it was just a project I really wanted to work towards for next year to get a better handle on that finances.
One of my goals for 21.
Okay. All right. Anything else under admin? All right. Hearing none, we'll turn it over to Mike Ladd for zoning economic development.
Thanks, Nick. So our virtual Board of Zoning Appeals is December 16th at 7 o'clock. Our zoning commission is December 10th at 7 o'clock. We have several things on for zoning commission. We have a request in to change zoning down off of Talmadge, just past the GC district. It's the current RO, which is residential office. They are proposing to change that district to make it more commercial. We'll see how that goes. Usually that's a 6-month process just to change any district. So it is lengthy, but we'll start that process. The BZA, as you know, we discussed earlier, has an application for a 12-unit per acre apartment complex on the Cosmeno property. There's not much else he could do with that property. Looking into the district and the way it's zoned right now, it's multifamily dwellings, apartments, banks, food and drink prep, theaters, retail establishments, studios, and then there's a couple of office uses for governmental agencies, accountants, doctors. That's about everything for that district. Sheets has applied to the BZA in November as a conditional use. This hearing was continued until December. They have several variance requests in. We've got tons and tons of letters from the residents here, both for and against. I would say there's only 4 for it, and I think we have 75, and I might be mistaken, but I know there's quite a bit that are against it. The biggest concern we see happening with Sheets is safety. This was brought up to the board many times. They did request something in writing from both the police and fire chief as well as the school board. I did send emails out requesting that. They didn't use subpoena power for it yet, but they do want some kind of correspondence back saying, they're concerned or no, they're not concerned, or, no opinion at all. But they do want something on record for that. I would say that if Sheets does not get the sign or the lighting that would happen at Falcon Drive on 43, that they probably would go away. There'd be no way of turning in there effectively. And I know that ODOT has not reached out and gotten back to us if they would allow us to activate the sign there. Wave Wash Car Wash was approved for conditional use, Maple Crest West. That happened at the last meeting. The comprehensive land use plan, we're working on compiling all the survey data. We do have meetings set up with Todd Peets as we start wrapping things up. They are making good time with it, considering everything with COVID, and most of the county people were working from home and compiling all this data. Hickory Creek PRD was approved by the BZA, and it is at regional planning, and you probably see some activity out there. That's the phase 2 of Sugar Maples is basically what it boils out to be. Oakwood Acres, still working with the developer there. It's hit or miss. Sometimes he's real hot on it and wants to get going, and then I don't hear from him for a month. So we'll see what happens there. GDI is working on the plans for the township signs. Dave and I will get Craig in contact with Portage County engineers as well as ODOT so that we're not having any problems with the signs in the future, that they're in the wrong spot or they're not allowed there or whatever. We will make sure that that happens. Our permit fee report is, the total is actually, I think on my paper, it says the 3rd, it's actually from the 30th of November. And we totaled 144,521 this year with COVID. Our highest year ever was 149, which was last year. And I still think we'll surpass it this year. And that concludes my report.
All right. Any questions for zoning or economic development?
Hey, Mike,
Yes.
do we have a deadline or a timeline for the sign entrance stuff to get out there and take a look at that?
For the sign entrance, you're talking about.
And all 4 routes into Brimfield to put the new sign up with you and Dave and.
There's no time limits.
I mean, is there any timeline in regards to when we're going to get out there and figure out where we can place them? I'm already getting invoices from Graphic Detail with everything ready to go. I guess we're waiting on that now.
As soon as he meets with me on the exact location, Dave and I meet him out there. We'll bring Mike Collins out and get the okay from them and ODOT. We're ready to go as soon as. I just need the exact locations.
So, and who's going to provide that exact location?
Excuse me, Craig is from.
Oh,
GDI.
okay. You guys just need to get a meeting together and get out there? Is that pretty much all it is?
Meet out in the field, bring Mike Collins with us, and then we'll have Mike submit as our engineer to the county, from the county to ODOT.
Okay.
So,
all right. Well, just keep me posted on that so that doesn't fall behind.
Yep.
Yeah, can we get that scheduled in the next week or two here? Just get out there as soon as possible, because if we got to wait on ODOT, I don't know how soon we want to release those funds to GDI because we need that ODOT approval.
Absolutely.
Hey, Mike, can I ask a follow-up question?
Yes.
In reference to the Sheets project, I know you've asked for a letter from the police and fire chiefs. Before I do that, would I be able to take a look at the current site plans as far as what that's going to look like? Can I take a look at that?
Yeah, it's on the website.
Okay.
So everything is there along with the meeting and all the meeting material.
Okay.
There's several drawings up there for the sheets.
All right. Very good. Thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions for zoning? All right, hearing none, we'll move on to road department.
All righty, we'll give it a try. I'm lacking sleep. I just want to let everybody know we just finished up a little bit this morning, cleaning everything up from the snowstorm. We weren't expecting what we got hit with last night at all. We went through about 30 ton to 40 ton of salt because it did turn to ice underneath a lot of the slushy snow after last night. So we did go through a little bit of salt, nothing unusual. We did some cleaning up at the cemetery. We took out a lot of the older decorations from the summer that were falling apart, old flowers. We discarded them like we normally do. We put some riprap in around the box culvert on Selnick Road. There was a little bit of an issue of a washout. I went through the county and the engineers and all that, which it came back to us. It didn't go back to the guy who put the box culvert in. It was just some side wash of the dirt. So we decided to go with riprap, a larger stone to hold in place better than dirt, which is what we would have made them come back and put back in. It's just better to put the bigger rock in to hold back the water from washing away. We did finish up cleaning up from the storm before the windstorm. We did get our wood chipper going. We cleaned up quite a bit of brush from that. We're going to order a couple 100 ton of salt. We're bringing in for next week. We'll set it up. I'm going to try to set it up and get it delivered next week. And one thing I got is we're having a lot of issues with basketball hoops on the roadway. I did send the guys out. We did push them off the road. So we're going to see most people, when we do push them off, they know why and they leave them off. But there is some people decide they want to put them back out there. So we'll probably end up, I have to have Rochelle like write up a letter. We'll have to normally tack it right onto the pole, and then if they ignore it, we end up either, most of the time we just remove them off the road and move them back again. You know what I mean? But we're trying not to be where we just scoop them and bring them up to the town hall and leave them. We're just trying to get the individuals out there to understand that my guys at 4 o'clock in the morning, sometimes you do not see that thing sticking out in the roadway, and I don't need a broken windshield to put a truck out of commission during storms. So if they just yank them off the road for the winter, we'd be in great appreciation. That's all I got for a report.
All right. Any questions for the road department? I just want to say, Dave, let your crew know we appreciate everything they're doing out there. It was great to see our roadways cleared up, and I saw them this morning early, cutting through the development, doing some final cleanup. And you know, it's a long night's warm right now, but hopefully we have some end in sight for a couple days.
Yeah, these 4 o'clock morning, I'm getting too old for this stuff. 4 o'clock mornings, day after day, and staying out till 9 at night. I'm getting up there, I guess. But no, yep, they did. My guys did a great job. I mean, like I said, we weren't expecting what we got hit with last night. There's a lot of people got caught with their pants down. I mean, we did too. I mean, I hate to say it that way, but they came in, they fought it back off, and we actually looked pretty good when we left last night at 9. So it's looking good out there. They did good.
All right, we appreciate it. All right, hearing nothing else for a road department, we'll move into Parks and Rec.
All right, can everybody hear me?
We can hear you.
All right, good. Sorry, I have mic problems. So I wanted to give some information to the board about the Christmas events. The community Christmas drive-through was this past Sunday on November 29th, and it was very, very successful. Craig went back and looked at the camera and counted about 260 cars came through in 2 hours. So that's pretty impressive. If you think about an average of 3 to 4 people per car, that could be a potential of 800 to 1,000 people that we served at that event. So that was really wonderful, and I wanted to thank everybody that was involved, all of the employees, the trustees, and the community groups that participated in this. And thank you for rolling with the punches with the last minute changes, and I think we were able to pull this event off safely and give everybody something nice to enjoy for the holidays. So that was really wonderful. I liked it so much that I would like to potentially do this event the same way next year. I know we kind of discussed that at the end of the event, so maybe we can discuss this again next year, maybe September, October, when we start thinking about it again. But really, really great event. I've gotten lots of great feedback about it. And then the other project that I'm currently working on is the Township Christmas Lighting Contest. The judging for that is already underway. All of the information for that can be found on our Facebook page and social media and on our website. So the judging will continue until the 5th, and the winners will be announced on the 6th. If any trustees would like to be a judge, please get with me about what exactly I'm looking for that. And then I also have some of the Parks Committee members are going to be judges. I unfortunately don't feel like I can be a judge because I know who all of the participants are. So I wouldn't really, I'm not impartial. So I don't feel like I could do that. But the Parks Committee doesn't know who they are. So I've tasked them with this. It's a pretty difficult task, I know, to go look at Christmas lights. I'm also working with Britztown, Suffield, Talmadge, and Atwater for the overall lighting contest. So the winner of our contest, the first place winner, will go into a contest with all of those cities and townships for one overall winner that will be announced on the 19th. We are currently compiling a prize basket that I don't know exactly what's going to be in it yet, but I'm also brainstorming a trophy that may be going around. So if you have any ideas, I'd like to hear them. Oh, I also wanted to remind anybody that's listening that voting for the Township Lighting Contest is only for residents. We had a few people from Stowe and other surrounding areas that put in their votes, and while I appreciate the enthusiasm, the official votes are only for Brimfield residents. And then the last thing is the Parks Advisory Committee. The first official meeting will be January 27th at 6:30, but I've already given them some homework to do, and they've already been very responsive. They've been working on a park survey for me, and they're helping with the lighting contest, and they already have given me great feedback with some ideas for 2021. So exciting things happening in the Parks Department. That's all I had.
All right. Any questions for Cassie?
Okay.
Nope.
Thank
All
you
right.
all
Well, thank
again.
you,
I
Cassie.
appreciate your help.
Yeah, no, and thank you for doing the drive-through event. It was a lot of fun. I was happy to be up there. It was great seeing so many community members having that safe way to come through and still enjoy the holiday festivities to kick off the Christmas year. I want to remind everybody too, under Parks and Rec, it's kind of Parks and Rec kind of township. We will be doing the Santa ringing of the bells on Christmas Eve at 6 p.m. I will be going live on Facebook with that, but we encourage all of our board members and residents to go outside Christmas Eve at 6 p.m. and we're going to ring the bells that were passed out, or if you have some at home, to help Santa Claus find Brimfield Township for all the kids. So that'll be a fun event on Christmas Eve at 6 p.m.
We
And
honk our horns also.
Oh.
We don't
What's
have the
that?
If we live far off the road, can we honk our horns?
Anything we can do. I want to hear noise through the whole township. I want to stand outside and hear it all. So.
Wow.
And
okay.
then one last thing, I just want to remind everybody, if you haven't seen the lights, if you didn't make it to the drive-through at the town hall, you can drive through anytime and come see them, and they're really beautiful. So
Okay.
that's all.
All right. Perfect.
Okay.
All right. Anything else for Parks and Rec?
I'm in a Zoom meeting right now.
Hearing none, we'll move into cemetery. We had 2 deeds to sign. We signed those. Any other comments under cemetery?
Do you still have those, Nick?
Yes, I will get those to you sometime today.
You need me to pick them up?
We'll talk after the meeting. I might be able to run them up. Let me see what my schedule. I got to see what my email looks like when I get out of here.
Okay.
Fiscal office, anything?
Nothing.
All right. Anything for the good of the township? Any additional comments, questions, or concerns? All right.
I just want
Brian.
to say one thing here because I was thinking of something else. The Facebook comments that we're getting on the lighting, the contest are spectacular. Everybody loves it. So I think that's a huge thing out there. I mean, we're on I have a Pleasant Lakes Facebook page, and there had to be 30 or 40 people out there so excited about just driving around Brimfield to see all the lights. So, Cassie, I think that's a spectacular thing. So,
You should hear my phone go off all day, every day. Just 9 o'clock at night, getting voicemails for voting, and my inbox is full of thank you for organizing this. I'll give credit to Nick because this was his idea, but just everybody really appreciates it. So it's good to be able to do something.
I feel like I live next to the highway now. One of the houses in my neighborhood is on the list, and there's just cars constantly. My wife's like, I was stuck behind like 6 or 8 cars trying to go to work last night. Couldn't get out. So, but it's great to see that we have so many people driving around looking at these.
Yeah.
All right, we have an executive session. So, Brian, that's why I called for you, just to make sure that you're doing all your techie things in the background so that we can go into executive session. I'd like to make a motion. Craig, do you have that sheet so you could read that motion language for me, please?
Stand by. I gotta just pull it up real quick.
I'm used to being in the office where I have that sitting at our table, and we're all teleworking right now.
Do you just want me to read what section?
Yeah, can you read it, please?
We're going to go into executive session to consider confidential information related to marketing plans, specific business strategy, production techniques, trade secrets, or personal finance statements of an applicant for economic development assistance.
All right, I'll make that motion.
I will second it.
Okay, all those in favor, Mike?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Motion passed. Craig, can you email that over to me?
Yes.
Okay. All right, Brian, we're out at 9:34.
There you go.
Okay, all right, we're back live.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, we are exiting executive session at 10:13 a.m. Anything for the good of Brimfield Township?
No.
Hearing none, I need a motion to close the meeting.
I will make that motion.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor, Mike,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
Sue,
Yes.
motion passed. We are out.
All right. At 10:13. Everyone have a great day.